Okay, so today we are going to discuss about arrays. So first of all, what do you mean by an array? Most common question. What do you mean by an array? Can anyone give me an answer? What do you mean by an array? Need some answers. Array is a collection of same type of elements. Only in Java this is the case. In Java, arrays will take only similar kind of data. Okay, in if you go to some other language, for example, if you go to Python, it will take a combination of data. It may be a string int and or it will take a combination, but in array, only in array, it will take only a similar kind of a data. If you declare a variable as an int, then it will take only int. So why do you need array? The first question is, why do you need arrays? Arrays are basically used for storing multiple objects. Just a minute, guys. Sorry, people. So let's first of all let's create a package called arrays. So in this arrays, let me create an app. So this app is runnable, so we'll keep it as a main method. So first of all, I'll take a variable which is int and I will say it as 5. So when I print out this variable, there is no rocket science in this. So I've just printed it. I'm getting the same value 5. Okay. But if I want to take two variables at a single time in a single variable, or 3 or 4, so it is giving me an error. So one of the main use of arrays is to basically have multiple objects or multiple elements. So this is possible. Okay, I'm not going to print out the variable over here right now. That is not an appropriate practice. So this is what an array is. Basically, an array is a collection of same type of elements within a single variable. A single variable can store multiple elements. That is how the array is done. And when coming back to the addresses, which are also called as index. So array's index will start with a 0. So when I say sys out of variable 0, it will print me 5. When I say variable 3, it will give me 6. Okay, so here variable 3 means 6. So because the index starts from 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so if there are 4 elements in an array, the length of the array, if the length of the array is 4, the first value of the index will be 0 and the last value of the index will be length minus 1. Till now, are we clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now let's see how the initialization is done of an array. So first of all, we'll say that, now let me take a string and I am telling that it is an array. We have to mention a square brackets over there and let us give some names for this, and an array should always be inside the flower brackets. So here I am giving some names: Monish, Nitin, Pujita, and Hemalata. Okay, so these are the names which I am giving for this list. So if I want to access any of these, then I'll simply say names, declare its index. So whatever index I'm giving, the correspondent value will be printed out. Okay, so this is one way of running this. The other way of initializing the variables is by creating an object. So when I say int, I'm having an array. Okay, now if I say array is equal to new int, so this is one way of doing this. You can even specify the size of the array. Okay, even you can specify the size of the array. When you're specifying the size, just what is that? Okay, when you're specifying the size, just declare the int as an array. These are the two ways how you basically run, initialize, and declare arrays. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Than
sir.
going all these ways, I prefer to going this way because no need of specifying the size and all. Okay. So here what we are doing is, whenever I am running this, if you see over here, if I want to print out the elements, I can't simply always write a print statement and do like this. Now we are having only 4 elements, so 0, 1, 2, 3, it is possible. But assume a case where there are 100 elements in an array. I can't basically write 100 print statements. That is not the proper way of writing. So how do you print out every element in an array? Or how do you access every element in an array? So writing the print statements is not basically the correct method. So what we'll do is we'll run a loop over the arrays, we'll access each element, and we'll print each element. So here let me take out a for loop, and for index I'll take an element I. I'll make it as 0 initially. I is less than or equal to, how many elements are we having? 0, 1, 2, and 3.
3.
So we'll put up 3 I plus plus. So here my I value is the index. Remember, here in this for loop, our I value will be the index. So if I want to print the array with index, okay, now I'll simply take out my loop, my print statement inside the loop, and I'll say names, and instead of giving a specific index, I'll give it as I, because I value is starting from 0 and ending till 3. I hope everyone are familiar with the for loop, so that I no need to explain it clear. Now if you see over here, every element is getting printed. Understood how the for loop is running?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
what if I add another element over here? I'll add this. I'll add ARY to my list. Now if I run, am I getting my ARY?
No.
Yes.
No. So I have to manually change this to 4 and I have to run this. So manually editing, it's not a good thing. As we have discussed it earlier, a code should always be added or removed but never edited. So if the list, in this list, if there are only 3 elements and if I run this, you can see that we are getting an error. So again I have to make this as 2. So this is not basically a correct practice. So for these kind of things, what we do is we have a function called length. We use the length. So here when I run this, The 0 value is running over the length. So the length of names is declared by names dot length. So what is the length of names? 1, 2 and 3. Since I'm not giving equal to, I'm directly giving it as names dot length. So that 3, it will, the loop will start at 0 and it will end at 2. Even now if I increase my array size, this will automatically get printed without any errors. This is the proper way of using a for loop. Are we clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. So here we are running the for loop over the index, right? But the problem is when you are running over the index, so here I is taking some space, and again names of I is taking some other space. The space is getting more and the speed of the program is also getting more. The speed of the program is also decreasing. So the speed of the program should always be max and the size should be minimum. So to write a program in that means we'll use a different kind of a for loop. We'll not use this kind of a for loop. We'll start using the for each loop. So for that, for each loop you will write something like this. For what kind of an element is this? What is the type of the element?
String.
You will mention string and I'll say name of names. I'll put a semicolon over there and I'll put name of names and I'll simply print the name. Here I am not taking the index, I am directly printing the name. Now if I print the name over here, you can see that all the names are getting printed. Even if I remove or add or whatever I do, it doesn't care. It will print every element of the array. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is how the strings are working. So assume that we'll take a int. Can we run a for each loop for an int? Next question is for each loop for an int. So I'll take up an array over here which is having some elements which are separated by a comma. Okay, and it with a semicolon. For what is the type of the element?
Int.
Int, and I'll say I of array, and here I'll simply print my I value and then I'll run it. You can see that I'm getting my values. No need of writing I equal to 0, I less than, plus plus, in declaring the length and all. No need of anything. You can directly use this simple way. Hope you understand what we are doing over here.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So now the next thing in our content of today is call by value and call by reference. So what do you mean by call by value and what do you mean by call by reference? Any idea?
No, sir.
No, not a problem. So assume that the class name is methods. We are having a public string static main method. Okay. So I'll create a variable called x which is equal to 0. Done. Now I'll create some method which is a non-static method and I'll say public display. It is taking some input x which is of int and I am saying inside display method the value of x. I'm printing the value of x. Okay, here whatever the x value I am giving, I am overriding with the value 5. Are we clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now here I'll create an object for my method obj is equal to new methods. So obj dot display, let the value be x. I am passing my x value, which is 0. Okay. Now let me print telling that in main, inside main, what is my x value? Tell me, what is my x value inside my main method?
0,
0.
What is my x value inside my display method?
5.
5. So I have changed my x value to 5, right?
Yes, sir.
First of all, sorry, let me run this main method. Yep. So if you see over here, first my x value is 5, then I'm creating an object. With the object I'm calling my display method. So once the display method is called, I'll go here. Inside here the initial value of x will be 0, so I'm passing the value here x, and I'm making that x equal to 5, and I'm printing the inside display 5. So I have changed my x value to 5. After that I am coming out of this and I am printing my main method, main value, which is, it is again showing me 0. It should be 5, right? Why it is showing 0? It should basically be 5, right? I have changed my value to 5. After changing my value only I am printing, right?
Yes, sir.
So why is it 0? This x is a local variable for the main method, okay, but this x is the local variable for display method, okay. So here when I am passing the value, I am passing the value of x. I am not passing the address of x, okay. I am passing the value. Here I am passing 0. See, before initializing x equal to 5, if I print my x value, what is the value I am getting? I am getting the value as 0, right? I am passing this value. If I change this value to 3 instead of 0, I'll get 3. Understood? Here in this
Yes.
display method over here, I am passing the value. I am not passing the address. Okay? When you are passing the value to some other method, that kind of method is called by value. This is called as call by value. Here the value is not changing. Whatever value I passed over here, it is passed only for this display method. Okay, when I again coming back out of the display method, when I'm again coming back to my main method, the value of the x value is same as previous, which will be my 3. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So when can I change this? When can I, if I change the value as 5, the main method value also should be changed to 5. So when can I change that? When can I make the changes? How do I do it? Is it possible? Of course you can, outside the main method you can give it as static int x, right? You can give static int x 4. At this time if you run this, the whole method is, but also it is outside, I am not accessing it inside, so even in that case also it is not possible. So how do you pass this? In the main method also I must get 5. How do you do it? It is not possible, okay. It is not possible to call by reference for a regular variable, okay. Are you people understanding what I am speaking over here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It is
Monish.
it is not possible to pass it by reference, means pass it by address for a normal variable. Assume that now I am taking a string of arrays, okay, where I'll take it as names itself. Okay, I'll whatever I have written over here, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay, I'm having a list of strings, and here I'm creating a method. Before I do anything on that, let me create void names. Yeah, names display, and here I'm passing a string of names, and then I'm using my for loop name colon names, and I'm simply printing my name. Okay, always remember that you need to mention the type. Okay, so here with the help of this methods, since I've already created my object over here, let me create another object and I'll say it as methods new methods. So my methods is calling the names display and I'm sending the names over here. Okay, here let me print out names of the first element. Okay, and then here let me print the names. Okay, so for a second let me comment this and let me comment all these things also and then run this. If you see here, when I am printing the names, it is giving me something gibberish. It is telling me it is of type string, but it is giving me something which is starting with at the rate. Means it is basically giving us the address. When I am passing over here, I'm sorry, when I am passing something over here, what is that I am passing? I am passing the address of names. When I say method dot names display of names, I am not passing the value. If you see over here, I am passing this. This is the address of the first element of the array. Understood? This is the address of the first element of the array. I am passing the address of the array. Okay, when you are passing the address of something, then it is called as call by reference. Now when I run this, you can see over here, I'll just remove this for a second and I'll run this. Now if you see over here, we are getting the list and then we are getting the address. I'll comment out the address also. Now in this display, what I'm doing is I am taking names of 0, which is Monish, and I am transferring it to something. Let me say I am transferring it to PVM. Okay. Now before, when we changed the value over here for x, when it was 3, we changed it to 5. But you can see over here in the main method the value was not affected. Here I am changing the names of 0 to PVM. Now let me uncomment the names of 0 and let me run this. Now if you see over here, it is being changed. The names of 0, it was first it was Monish, now if you see it has got changed. So here when you are passing the address, it is possible to change it and then you can use it. So that is called as call by reference. Call by reference means passing the address. Call by value means passing the value. When you are passing the address, you can change the the variable value. When you are passing the value, you can't change the value of that variable. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is called as call by reference and call by value. This is a pretty important topic when it comes to arrays. Only call by reference is possible. In normal way, normal data types, it is not. Okay, when it is primitive, it is not. When you're talking about arrays, or when you're talking about collections or generics, this is possible. Okay, so what are the main issues on arrays? The only issue I can see here is index out of bound, array index out of bound. Any other issue is possible in arrays? One is you can't give a different data type, it will throw you an error. That is one issue. Second issue is once you declare the size of the array. So when I say string is equal to string of names, give it like this. Yeah, I can give it like this. String of names is equal to new string of 3, and when I do like this, you can see that I already defined 3, so it is giving me an error that it is not possible like that. Okay, so those kind of issues are basically possible over here. Okay, so instead of those, to recover those kind of an issues, we basically go to collections. Okay, in the next session we see about collections, how to overcome the issue of the static size of an array. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
understood the arrays?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
sir.
There are many different methods on arrays. Okay, there are many functionalities, there are many logics to be run, but for now just understand how to initialize it, how to run a for each loop. I am guessing the for each loop is new for you people.
Yes, sir.
I think for each loop is new. Have you learned it before?
No, sir.
So the for each loop is new, so
Yes.
understand that concept, and as well as the call by reference and call by value. Okay, I think even the call by value and call by reference is new for you people, so understand those two concepts.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
so the sizes and all, we'll see it on the collections.